When you declare a variable in constraint programming, you also need to provide it a domain. For instance, you say that x, the variable x, should be one of the following values. This is what we call the domain of the variable. And so a domain is a set data structure. So you need an API for implementing the domain that allows you to query the set to ask what are the values that are still present in the domain, but you also need to remove values. So if you remember the pruning, in terms of pruning, we will always be able to remove, we should be able to remove easily values from the domain. So we will never add new values, but we will remove values. And so we have a few possibilities in terms of implementation that are quite natural if you're already familiar with this data structure. So for implementing such a set, you could, for instance, use a bit vector. You could also use a linked list, or a hash set, or a sparse set. And the one that we will choose is the sparse set data structure. And this one, you may be not so familiar with this data structure, and this is why I will explain a little bit more in details what is a sparse set and why we decided to choose this option for implementing the domains in Minicp. So a sparse set is composed of two arrays. There is the index array and there is the values array. The values array is really the domain. Okay, so all these values are part of the domain. And this is more a mapping function. Okay, this is a mapping function, and you also have this variable that is the size of the domain. So every variable that is to the left of the size here, all the variables there that is on the left to the left of the size are initially part of the domain. Okay, and this is the mapping function that allows you to retrieve easily where are the values. So initially the mapping is exactly the same as the values. So the value 8 is there, the value 7 is there, but it could be that the value 7 would be there. In that case, the pointer would point this way. Okay. And so we will maintain this very important invariant that the value at the index of v is equal to the value v. This is the very important invariant that we will maintain always inside the sparse set. So let's play with the sparse set and remove some values. Let's remove the value 4 from the sparse set. So the value 4 is, I follow this arrow, is there. The way I will remove it in constant time, so in order of 1 time, is that I will swap it with the last value. I will exchange this value with the last value. And so I will take this one, take the one at the end, which is there, which is 8. And I know that 8 is there, so I will exchange these two values like this. I swap the two positions, and I reflect the change also according to my mapping table, which is indexes, to say that the value 8 now is pointing there, and the value 4 is pointing there. And to reflect that the value 4 has been removed, I simply do size minus minus to decrease the size so that the last value is now removed from the set. Like this. And so what is nice with this data structure is that you can really remove one value in constant time. It takes, to update all the pointers, it takes a fixed amount of operations, okay, on arrays. Let's remove another one to make sure that you understand how it works. I will remove the value 6 now from this domain. So I will again exchange it with the last one. The last one is the value 7 at the end of the array. I swap the two. I reflect the change on the pointers. And then I decrease my size. And if I decrease my size, the value 6 is now out of my set. Like this. And now 6 is out. And you see that my invariant is still satisfied. If you try the invariant for the value 7, for instance, the index of 7 is 6. Oh, sorry. So the index you take the one 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The index of 7 here is 6. Okay. And if you follow the pointer, you have the value 7 there. Okay. So the invariant is still maintained after the operations. So remember, all these values are considered inside the set, and the one to the right of the size in the values array are considered as out of the set. Another important operation that we need when we will take branching decision in CP is assign the variable, the domain, to a single value. And I can also do that easily with sparse sets. For instance, I want to remove everything but the value 3. The way I should do that is I should place the value 3 in front of the array. Let's do that. I swap it with the first one, like this. I reflect the change in the pointers. And now I set the size of the set to 1, so that only the value 1 is considered inside the set. And if you want to query if a specific value is in or out of the set, you just need to follow the pointer, and if the pointer is larger than the size, you know that it is considered as out of the set. A very nice property of sparse set is that you can easily recover the values that were removed from the set when you backtrack. Because all you need to do is restore the size of the set when you will backtrack. And this is also an operation that we need a lot, because we will explore the search in a depth-first search way. So we will always dive left, 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 remove some values. And when you backtrack, you want to restore the domains of the variables in the state they had prior to the branching decisions. So let's see how it works. I have this set initially, which is represented here. All the values are here. Then I will remove the values 4 and 6 from the domains. I remove 4, I remove 6. Then I will assign the domain to 3, like this. And then you need to backtrack. And when you will backtrack, all you need to do is restore the size. So if you restore the size as it was, like this, you see that magically all the values are back in the set. Okay? Although the pointers are not exactly the same, it doesn't matter. The properties that we use to consider that the value is still in the set or not, even if the permutation is not exactly the same, it doesn't matter. All the values that are to the left of size are the same as they were before. And if you backtrack one more time, you will recover the value 4 and 6 as well as it was originally in this node. So all these operations are very efficient. You can remove a value in constant time, assign the set to a single value in constant time. What is a little bit more complex is retrieving the minimum and the maximum. Okay, it may take a little bit longer because you might need to iterate over the values that are still in the set to update the minimum and the maximum. Retrieving the size is also in constant time, and checking if a value is present or not in the set is also a constant time operation. In the next video, we will look into the implementation of this data structure.